Hello and happy Thursday. Um, it's time for another week of Caitlin's Music City Skinny. Last week, we were talking about a really timely topic, and that was how to buy in a seller's market, which is exactly what we're seeing here. We still continue to see it. We are just very fortunate in Nashville that we still have a healthy real estate market, because I know there are places in other parts of the country that are really struggling. And on top of everything else that's happened with the economy, we are just very, very fortunate that we're still moving forward. So you are looking to buy during this time. If you have that desire to own, amazing. June is National Homeowners Month, and so we are talking all things about purchasing a home. And this stuff is really good, whether this is going to be your first purchase or whether this is your first purchase maybe in Nashville, or maybe it's your third purchase. But things, and it's always good just to kind of be on top of your game. So today we're diving into what to expect during the home inspection, because this is a really huge part of the transaction. This, I've said it time and again, but typically if the contract is going to fall apart, it's going to happen during the inspection phase. And so today we're just going to be jumping into things like, what should you expect? Should you be there? So we're going to cover all things home inspection. So just grab a cup of coffee, grab a drink, join me, and let's dive in. Okay. So what to expect during the home inspection. So will the home inspector inspect every feature in the home? So they are basically going to go through the home, and they're going to be looking at things with a close eye. Now, they can't see into walls. They can't tell you necessarily if there's something bad happening behind the wall. They also aren't able to, because when you're buying, we always are going to want to make the request, and we're hoping that the listing agent is going to pass along the information to the sellers to make sure that everything is, they can get and access everything that they need to. But sometimes sellers don't listen, and you can't go moving things around a seller's home. So they're going to inspect everything that they can, including from making sure all the faucets work to making sure the electrical outlets work. They're going to be looking for the things that may or may not be missed. And so their goal, people kind of can sometimes look at home inspection with a little bit of a negative eye. But the thing is, it's their job, and doing the inspection is a protection for you as the buyer, because what our eyes may not pick up on, an inspector's eyes may, and they may be able to see something that we didn't see when we wrote the offer or when we toured the home. And so ultimately it's to protect you. The last thing you want to do is get into a home and there all of a sudden become a huge issue, like foundation issues or huge electrical issues or roof issues or back deck issues. The last thing you want to do is get into the home and then all of a sudden have this massive, massive expense that you weren't prepared for. And so I'm always, whether it's new construction or an existing home, you're always going to want to do a home inspection. The second question is, should I attend the home inspection? And so yes, you can. I always attend the home inspection for my buyers, get there at some point during the home inspection, because I like to be able to go through the report there so I know what I'm going to be communicating back. Now, if you are out of town, I am there in your place. If you are in town, you are more than welcome to join. It's always just a really good idea, because sometimes what can happen is the home inspector may note something in the report that you may end up having questions about. And if you're there, you do have that opportunity to speak with the home inspector to be able to get it directly from him or her. So that way you can maybe have a better, clearer understanding than what may translate going through me to you. So what does the home inspection report include? So this is going to cover things. I mean, ultimately it's a very detailed report. So they're going to be looking at the HVAC system. They're going to be looking at garage door sensors. They're going to be looking again at your faucets, at your anything that they can see. They're going to be inspecting. They're going to take a look in your crawl space or your basement or your attic. they're basically taking a look to see if there's any issues that we have not caught initially, and they just want to make sure that the home is in working order. And so people need to remember, like, it's the home inspector's job to find things. And yes, they will find things, but it's not all bad. They like there's normally levels on a home inspection report, right? So you're going to have things that are going, are urgent and they are going to need attention right away. Then you're going to have things that issues. If you want, you can either ask for them or you may want to take care of it. And then there's other things that are typically minor, right? So it's their job. No one's going to get a 100% clean inspection report. Like, that just doesn't exist. But again, you have to remember that their eyes are there, again, as a protection for you when it comes to buying the home. So number 4 is typically, how do I go about handling negotiations for the repairs? So again, it's not up to you. The negotiation part falls on me speaking with the other agent. Now, what we do, and I get this question a lot too, is, well, how much can we ask for, right? So I always say, you need to include your must-have repairs that you want the seller to take on and repair in order for the contract to continue on. And then from there, you start to pack in the things that are on the wish list. And I tend to kind of try to rank them in a certain importance so that we can just kind of keep an eye out. People want to know, well, what's the right number to ask for? Again, when you are competing in a seller's market, it's going to be harder to ask for an entire list, just because the seller can say, well, like, look, if you aren't willing to accept it, we know that there's demand on our house and we'll go back to a different offer. And, we'll they have that option when we're in a seller's market. But again, a lot of times sellers will want to work with you. And so it's a matter of figuring out where is that middle ground that you both can be happy with. Which repairs do you absolutely want from the seller, and which ones might you be okay doing? Maybe not even, right after move in, but down the road at some point. And so then number 5, who's responsible for paying for the home inspection? So this is a really good question because, sometimes one thing I always want to do is I always want to educate my buyers up front, like what kind of costs you're going to run into other than the down payment and closing costs. Because those are normally financials that you hear about prior to starting the process. But then there's other expenses along the way, and one of them being the home inspection. Now, there are several home inspection companies out there, and they can run you very expensive rates. Like, it is what it is. They typically do a price per square foot, and that's how they come up. But, I always have a list or a reference of my trusted recommended home inspector. I am a big fan of Galaxy Home Inspection. They are not only is Jim both affordable, but he's also very thorough. And I always find that to be really, really helpful. So that's going to be my go-to recommendation for you. Of course, you are free to choose whomever, but that's going to be my go-to at all times. He has been great to work with, and is always just really looking out for all my buyers, which, I appreciate, of course, because, when you're building your team of your recommended people, you want to make sure that they operate and reflect in their business the way that you want to do business. So that's my little spiel. But yes, ultimately, the price of the home inspection does land on the buyer. That is, an additional financial piece that falls into the home buying process. But again, you do not have to spend an arm and a leg on a home inspection. So this is all that I have for today about home inspections. If you have any questions about home inspections, please feel free to always give me a call, shoot me a message, drop a comment below. I would be happy to answer any questions you have. One thing again to remember, the home inspection is there to protect you. Yes, there will be things on that list, but no, it does not mean that the contract has to fall apart. There's ways to navigate it, negotiate through it, and get to the other side and end up in the home that you love. And yeah, it's don't fear the home inspection. I know that a lot of people get nervous, but it's again, it's there for your protection. So I hope that everyone has a wonderful Thursday. I will be back next week. And again, if you need anything in the meantime, feel free to shoot me a message, but I hope that you have a fabulous day. See y'all.